and welcome. This is Ayana Lahi, and I am so very happy that you're here with me today in this week's episode of Be One, Be You. We are diving into the theme, the problem of overthinking. We are taught in our global culture that thinking means that we are using our brain. And we all equate, of course, our brain is really in our head, but there are more brain centers in you that, when invited in and connected into, opens up a deeper dimension and field of true integrated brilliance. Humans have the opportunity, we all have the opportunity to strengthen our connection to the source of life consciously. When we look at different animals in nature, we can see that they have a direct focus and a groove that they connect into that gives them their ability to do what they do best. An eagle flies high. An eagle can see what other birds cannot. The eagle has evolved into who it is and what it can do. The elephant walks the earth. It knows its connection with the land. It has a centered connection to its innate, its natural intelligence. You as a human being, we all have the ability to go beyond what we think is normal thinking. When we think just from analyzing and interpreting reality just from our head, we are limiting ourselves to the way our human brain works. What a phenomenal organ your brain is. And as you know, all of us know at this point, we hear statistics that we're only using a very small percentage of our brain. So what does it look like to break out of overthinking? Overthinking is where we are trying to figure something out, discern, isolate a particular problem, a issue that is up in life. As a scientist, you try to figure something out according to facts, how those facts connect to the bigger whole. You look at the bigger picture, the little picture. That is pure spirit. That is blending material, spiritual reality together. When we overthink, when we are over isolating our mind to peer into a topic, an issue, only from logic, we are isolating the universe from us. We are thinking that we are the universe. So when we are not in overthinking, isolating the mind from the whole self, what do we get? What you find is spontaneity, wonder, cheerful, joyful presence. You find the gifts of the unknown. You find that the universe is way bigger than what we can figure out in an isolated, overthinking perspective. Da Vinci did not draw his first map of the world through an analytical mind. Years ago, I saw his map, and it was in a glass-enclosed case in Florence, Italy, at a phenomenal, absolute incredible gallery show of Da Vinci's sketches and maps, etc. And it was mind-blowing and truly life-inspiring. Besides being in Florence, which is really fun and fills the soul. Da Vinci had a connection to his inner centers, the other brains within inside of himself. People call now intuition. There are centers that are cosmic, meaning that they pierce the veil into the inner planes of consciousness. Intuition is most definitely a powerful and pretty easy trait to connect into. It's level 1. And beyond that level 1 of intuition are PowerPoint centers. This is the name that I've given them, that are correlated to the chakra system, but they go beyond. When you hang out in overthinking something, some things need that just straight, focused mind, intellect. You just have to. They usually have to do with numbers, figures, analyzing, statistics, all of that. It's straight brain work. But know if you're in that work, and in those moments, all of us are doing that work, whatever we're involved in that demands us to have that focused attention. Know that when you anchor yourself through your other PowerPoint centers in your body, you are allowing your other brains in your body, those centers of deep intelligence that are connecting you into other forms of intelligence. I call it divine intelligence, infinite intelligence, so that you are breaking through the barriers that you've created inside of yourself for many reasons to access your mind. And as a kid, we all have the experience back when we were a child. And for some of you, it's just maybe 10 years or 15 years. And for others of you, it's 20 or 30 or 40, 50, 60 years ago. But that child wonder within inside of yourself happened because you weren't just thinking through the mind. Your mind was an interpreter of your experience. And when you return to that place again within inside of yourself, while, of course, knowing how to be fully able to work things out in your mind, you experience a renaissance of your being. You become a Da Vinci in your soul. You begin to feel the soul of the matter. You begin to experience what's inside of what you're looking at, what you're taking in, what you're hearing, what you're perceiving. And you enter into a zone where great art is created, where new thought systems are brought through. You experience making everything is possible. And for those who are unfamiliar with my brand, Spirit Gateways, subtitle is Everything is Possible. Be extraordinary. How does this happen? It happens through popping out of relying upon the analytical, over-masculine mindset, which is only developed in the last 5,000 years. Only, right? It's a long time to create history, his story. And for all of us, we get so overwhelmed and burdened with the small stuff that becomes the big stuff in our lives. So many details to handle. For those of you who are wondering how to simplify your life, you want to create it so that you don't have to be constantly overthinking things. And the way to begin to end overthinking, which creates your anxiety, creates the stress, creates the worry, is to have something to connect into, that big something that is way bigger than you while you're anchored in your body. I'll elaborate here. If you spend too much time meditating to go into bliss states, for instance, and you separate from your body and you go into the etheric realms where it's a lot of, feeling good and lightness, but you separate from the problems in your life. You separate from the anxiety or the stress or the constriction in your body. What you find is you end up living in a separate reality, a separate state. And there are many peoples who fall into thinking that's a spiritual state to be separate. They go to the separate reality, the separate state. And it's a way out of overthinking, but it doesn't solve the problem or in the goal and the focus of all the Spirit Gateways work and the Spirit Gateways 21st Century Liberation Roadmap, which is the essence, the source, the core of the teachings in all of the Spirit Gateways offerings, all the courses that you find. My website, IanaLahi, IANALAHI.com, all come from that sourced, integrated teaching perspective of being whole. So you are taught how not to be in the overthinking. The overthinking is when you separate from the source points within you. The source points get blocked. For example, your root center, the space between your pubic bone and tailbone, is such a vitally important connection point to your health, your creative and sexual energies. It is a source point to the root of your feminine, whether you're in a masculine male body or a feminine body, whatever you are connected to on a psychological level of what sexual gender you are identifying with doesn't make it's no difference about your ability to connect into your source point. It's so easy to overthink whether you have an identification in your male body or your female body. The difference is how you source into your infinite divine intelligence. I'll go into, and I love moving into this. We'll do this in other podcasts. That what I'm about to say is one of the main themes in the Spirit Gateway's 21st Century Liberation Roadmap is inner divine masculine reunion. This is huge for these times. Reconnection, to be able to work with the powers in your own soul. And of course, this ties into the gender identification and who we really are, in our society, in our world right now. It's really an amazing time in our story of evolving and being able to move into who we are. So overthinking keeps you from accessing all of you. And all of you is a gorgeous universe of color and sound and texture, vibrancy, aliveness. You have evolved through every life form there is on this planet. It's miraculous. So when you think about the way that animals, for instance, are naturally connected to the elements that they move through, are connected through, the way plants work with the seasons, the light, the dark of their environment, it's extraordinary. You too have the same inner world within you to connect into. We fall into, literally fall into a separate reality by overthinking, seeing life only through the thoughts in our head, The thoughts in your head are not necessarily your truth. When you connect the brain in your head by now breathe into your solar plexus, the space between the bottom tip of your xiphoid, the tip of your rib cage, the bony point at the bottom of your rib cage, and you can just feel the expanse of your ribs underneath your bony little protrusion there, the bottom of your rib cage. You dive down into a center, a brain within you. That is a regenerative generator and receiver of life force energies. When you bring your brain by sliding down a water slide down into your solar plexus, this incredible sun within you, it can illuminate your whole body. Your body is a temple, it's a vessel, it's a container for this infrastructure within you that has great capacity to think. So Leonardo da Vinci, for instance, he was connected into seeing the world in his map of the world. How could he have seen that at his time? He used other faculties to lift into seeing from his inner eye, beyond intuition, the ability to see. So if you overthink, you cut off some of your spiritual gifts that are unique to you. When you open beyond using just the constriction of just using your head, look at what we can create. I'll give you some examples. We live in a time of extreme inner battle that has manifested into external battle. Greed. We're still caught in our world of taking over countries and imposing financial systems upon another culture and upon one's own country. Why? Because we're overthinking through the head. How did this happen? It's what we're all here to heal. It is disconnecting, shutting off, literally cutting the cord to our inner feminine. And we are living in a time where we see the feminine emerging in new ways or old ways that have been kind of underground, that are now seeping up like a new plant in spring. Both men and women are curious about their inner feminine. And we'll dive into that more in another class. And yes, in all of the courses that you find in our membership program, where everything is given to you. And you can find out more just by subscribing on my website at ayanalehi.com, and you'll get one, free course sent to you that is a work of love for you. That's 52 weeks of a free video sent to you that is teaching meditation and movement in your inbox every Saturday. So I'd like to invite you to feel your body this week, to let your mind drop into your hands, into your solar plexus, into your lower belly, into your tailbone, and feel what's there and have compassion and receive and know that inside of your whole being is an infinite mind system where your mind and your body are truly one. Only we separate it. So take the time this week to pay attention to when you go overly in your head and you wind the same thoughts through you. And choose in that moment to stop the repetitive mind. Take a time to breathe and just be with yourself. Put your hands on your heart and bring in gold light. You imagine, see it, you create it through that infinite intelligence within you to pour in that gold light that is the first chord through and into you, that is your cosmic, infinite, divine, meaning it's always here. The divine is always here. Our human body is born, it lives, and then it ends. At some point, whether you live 50 years, 80 years, 100 years, or 250 years, you have the ability to connect into the source that will divinely connect you into your infinite self. And it is a process, one that I adore, and here to share with you of how to uplift your human consciousness into its max potential so that you don't have to wear your brain out, need to overstimulate through caffeine or favorite drug or medication, or then have to bring yourself down or to escape, but to experience living in your whole body so that you can truly enjoy life and experience what it feels like to accomplish while you're infinitely connected to that ongoing, beautiful intelligence within you that makes you, you. Thank you so much for joining with all of us, inviting you to check out on my website, ayanalehi.com, our community, and to join us. I would be honored to have you with us, to get to know you, and to be a part of this renaissance of being fully ripe in all that you are so you can make the difference that you came into this lifetime to make. Sending you all my love. Until next time, this is Ayana Lehi.